Are you spiritually exhausted? Do you feel like you're locked in a constant battle with the universe, chasing after dreams, relationships, and a sense of peace, only to have them crumble to dust the moment you get close? It's a profound, soul-crushing ache. That feeling that no matter how hard you push, how much you sacrifice, something is fundamentally wrong. You start to wonder, is the problem me? But what if I told you the problem isn't your effort, but your entire approach? What if the very act of chasing is what's pushing your destiny away? There is a powerful, hidden truth known by the legendary psychoanalyst Carl Jung, a secret that turns everything you know about struggle and achievement on its head. He revealed that what is truly meant for you will not be won in a fight. It will find you, effortlessly, once you unlock the right inner frequency. In the next few minutes, I will show you precisely why your deepest desires have eluded you and give you the key to finally stop chasing and start attracting. This is the kind of wisdom that can radically alter the course of your life, and we explore these truths in every single video. A surprising number of people who watch our channel and benefit from these teachings aren't subscribed. If that's you, take this 1 second to click subscribe and turn on notifications so you don't miss the next piece of the puzzle. It also truly helps us if you hit the like button, as it signals that this message is important and needs to be seen by others who are struggling. And finally, I'm deeply curious to see how far this knowledge is spreading. Please, let us know in the comments where in the world you are watching from, so we can all witness how far Jung's wisdom can travel to heal. Now prepare to understand that what your soul truly needs is not what your ego wants, and that is the secret to everything. This understanding changes everything. It changes the way you look at losses, at silences, at life's no's. It changes your relationship with time, with anxiety, with the idea of control. Because when you start to trust this flow, not as conformism, but as an act of spiritual courage, something inside you calms down. The need to prove, to accelerate, to conquer at all costs begins to lose its strength. And in its place, a quiet confidence is born. The confidence that yes, what is yours is coming, and that while it doesn't happen, you can live, you can grow, you can become who you need to be to receive what is already on its way. Because destiny does not err in its route. It just waits for the right moment to happen. The idea that everything that is meant to be yours will find you does not mean passivity. It's not about crossing your arms and waiting for life to deliver miracles wrapped on golden platters. What Jung proposes is more subtle and powerful, a path of self-awareness. Because for something to truly find us, we need to be in the right place. And this place is not a physical address, but an internal state. When you are disconnected from who you really are, you live chasing distorted versions of love, success, recognition. You attract relationships that have nothing to do with you. You insist on projects that drain your soul. And all of this generates a cycle of frustration that makes you believe that life is against you. But in reality, it is just a reflection of your own disconnection. Because what is meant to be yours can only find you when you are being your true self. And that's why so many things start to go right when you stop forcing yourself to fit into places that don't belong to you, when you stop chasing after those who never saw you, pleasing those who will never accept you, following paths that were drawn by others' expectations. From the moment you begin to respect your essence, even without knowing exactly where it will take you, life begins to respond in a different way. Jung spoke about the process of individuation, which is precisely this dive into one's own truth. It is the moment when you start listening to yourself instead of the world. And this internal movement, however silent, has a profound impact on your choices, your relationships, your presence. You stop being someone lost trying to fit in and become someone whole being found. At this point, synchronicities become more frequent. People start to appear out of nowhere. Opportunities arise when you least expect them. Doors that were locked open with ease. And it's not magic. It's alignment. It's as if the universe were saying, now you are ready. Now you can receive. And the most beautiful thing is that in this state of connection, you no longer feel that desperate urgency from before, because you understand that everything has its time, that waiting is also part of it. that the path does not need to be rushed. And that is when what is meant to be yours actually finds you. Not because you forced it, but because you became someone who already lives in peace with what has not yet arrived. And this peace in itself is a sign that the encounter is near. But what is truly meant to be yours? This is a question that carries more depth than it seems, because not everything you truly desire belongs to you. Sometimes, what you want comes from the ego, from the need to prove something, to fill a void, to repair old wounds. And that's when we confuse what makes sense with what is missing. Jung said that the soul has a wisdom that the ego does not understand. And it is precisely for this reason that many of our greatest desires do not come true. Not because we are incapable, but because we are not yet who we need to be to live that without losing ourselves. Life, in this sense, does not deny anything. It only postpones until we are ready. And this ready has nothing to do with perfection, but with inner maturity, with the courage to say no to what hurts, even if it seems tempting, with the honesty to recognize that some dreams were just walls painted to look like the sky. And it is exactly in this process of detachment that the true conquest begins. Because when you let go of what does not belong to you, you make space for what is really yours to enter. It could be a new relationship, a new job, a move to another city, or even a rediscovery of what you already have, but never valued. And most of the time, what arrives at this moment doesn't have the exaggerated shine of what the ego desired, but it has peace. It fits. It has silence within. It's as if you stopped swimming against the current and for the first time were carried by the right water. This does not mean an absence of effort. It means presence. It means consciousness. It means knowing when to stop forcing, when to let go, when to trust. And this is what changes everything. Because when you live forcing doors that do not open, you are telling the universe that you do not trust the timing of things, that you do not believe that there is something better waiting for you, that you prefer to cling to the little, the shallow, to what hurts. But when you let go with faith and firmness, you are saying, I deserve more. And this simple act of surrender changes the frequency at which you vibrate, the field you emanate, the answers life gives you. And so, what is meant to be yours begins to approach gently, without fanfare, without anxiety, because what is true does not enter making noise. It enters because it recognizes a home in you. And this home only exists when you stop being who the world told you to be and start being who you were born to be. There is a moment when we realize that we no longer need to chase, not out of pride, not out of frustration, but out of wisdom. It's when you understand that everything that runs from you was never yours, and everything that remains, even in the face of chaos, doubts, and silences, carries something worth taking care of. Carl Jung saw the human being as a symbolic field where nothing is by chance and everything communicates. When you insist on something that is clearly fleeing from you, you are not just wasting energy, you are disconnecting from your essence. Because what is truly yours does not require persecution. It requires presence, understanding, internal alignment. And this completely changes the way you see losses, rejections, endings, silences. You stop interpreting them as rejection and start perceiving them as redirection. And it is in this redirection that the answers you seek so much reside. Sometimes, what you swore was the center of your life was, in fact, a detour, a shortcut to learn to say no, to know yourself more deeply, to recognize your limits and true desires. It's hard to see this while the pain is still pulsing. But with time, and especially with awareness, you understand. It didn't reject you. It freed you. What didn't happen didn't frustrate you. It protected you. Because when you align with your deepest essence, everything that is not compatible with it simply begins to dissolve. And this is not punishment. It is refinement. It is clarity. It is the beginning of a new order, where you no longer need to ask for love, for attention, for presence. Because what is meant to be yours is already on its way, and it will not go unnoticed. It will recognize you as part of the same path. But for that to happen, You need to stop hiding behind versions you invented to be accepted. The love that is for you, the life that is yours, the destiny that awaits you. They do not recognize masks. They only approach when you decide with firmness to live without a filter, without armor, without fear of appearing vulnerable, because it is in vulnerability that authenticity resides, and it is in it that the universe finds the ways to reach you. Carl Jung believed that the soul attracts what it needs to evolve, and often what the soul needs is the exact opposite of what the ego desires. So when you start to lose things, people, opportunities, don't think you are being punished. Think that you are being emptied to be truly filled. What is meant to be yours will find you, but first, you need to find yourself too. When Jung spoke about destiny, he was not talking about something external and immutable, but about an internal process of revelation. Destiny for him was what emerges when you stop running from yourself. That is, what is meant to be yours will not find you while you are living the life that is expected of you, repeating patterns that are not even yours, trying to please, to belong, to fit in. What is true does not reach your molded version. It arrives when you emotionally undress, when you begin to honor your contradictions, to listen to your discomforts, to welcome what you feel. That's when the universe begins to respond. Not because it changed, but because you changed the way you are in it. And then what previously seemed so difficult, so unattainable, so unlikely, begins to flow as if it had always been there, just waiting for your permission. This permission is the key, because when you decide that you will no longer beg for attention, will no longer insist where there is no reciprocity, will no longer diminish yourself to fit into the little that is offered to you, you create a new field around you, a field where only what vibrates at the same frequency as your truth enters. And this has an almost magical power. You begin to realize that you don't need to run, convince, prove anything to anyone. The connections that matter happen naturally. The opportunities that make sense find you without effort. The paths open not because you begged, but because you aligned yourself. Jung called this synchronicity, that kind of event that cannot be explained by logic, but that has a profound meaning. When you live from your essence, the world gives you back signs, and these signs, however subtle, guide you like silent compasses, pointing in the right direction. Therefore, do not despair if something you wanted very much did not happen. Do not think you wasted time with someone who did not stay, nor that what you gave to someone who did not know how to receive was in vain. All of this was part of the path. All of this shaped you for now. Every absence taught you presence. Every rejection taught you your worth. Every silence taught you to listen to yourself. And it is precisely this learning that prepares the ground for what is truly yours. Because when you stop insisting on locked doors, others open by themselves. And it is these doors that you must cross, not with fear, but with courage, not with doubt, but with confidence, because what is meant to be yours, and herein lies its beauty, never requires desperate effort. It only requires truth. And when you choose your truth, everything that belongs to you begins to recognize you back. The great challenge, however, is to trust this process when everything seems stagnant. It's hard to believe that something bigger is taking shape when we are surrounded by emptiness, by waiting, by the feeling that nothing is happening. But silence is also a stage of revelation. It is in silence that you learn to listen to yourself, to reconnect with what you really want, and to realize what you no longer want. The universe does not work on our mental timeline. It works on the timeline of the soul's maturation. And often this time requires you to step away from distractions, to detoxify from superficial bonds, and to find meaning in the space between one phase and another. Jung said that every process of transformation begins with a descent, a journey into the unconscious, where we face shadows, heal wounds, and rescue parts of ourselves that have been forgotten. This crossing may seem like solitude, but it is actually preparation. During this silent preparation, it is common for life to test us. People who no longer match our new frequency may reappear. Old situations try to pull us back. The mind, with its old defense mechanisms, tries to convince us that we are wrong to change. And that is where the turning point lies. You need to sustain your truth, even when it hasn't yet yielded visible results. You need to remain faithful to yourself, even when the temptation to return to the familiar seems more comfortable. It is an act of faith, not in the religious sense, but in the deepest spiritual sense. Faith in your own journey. Faith that what is to come is greater than what was left behind. When you maintain this internal integrity, something around you changes. Different people start to appear. More coherent opportunities begin to arise, and you feel, even without proof, that you are closer to what you have always sought. And perhaps the most beautiful thing of all is to realize that deep down, what is meant to be yours does not come just to complete you. It comes to reveal you. It's not about filling a void, but about sharing a wholeness. The connections that truly transform are not those that save you, but those that mirror you. They show how much you have grown, how much you have healed, how ready you are to live with depth. The love that arrives at this stage of life is no longer about expectation. It is about presence. It is no longer about need. It is about choice. And all this is only possible because you went through the previous process. So, yes, what is meant to be yours will find you, but not because you chased after it, but because you stood firm where it mattered most, within yourself. Destiny, in this case, is not a line written externally. It is a natural consequence of who you have become. And when what is yours finally finds you, there are no doubts, no confusion, no need to prove or plead. There is an inner silence that confirms. There is a peace that settles, even amidst the uncertainties of the external world. Jung believed that the unconscious guides us to encounters that reveal our true being. And when that happens, you recognize more than the other person. You recognize yourself. This does not mean it will be easy or that there will be no challenges, but there will be a silent alignment between what you feel and what you are living. It's as if every piece finally finds its place. And in this fitting, there is no need for masks. You can be who you are, without defenses, without strategies, without the constant fear of being rejected. Because the true encounter happens between souls that have seen each other before, even if they don't consciously remember it. This type of experience redefines what we understand by love, success, purpose, and fulfillment. We begin to realize that it's not just about getting what we desire, but about attracting what is compatible with our new state of consciousness. Life, in this sense, ceases to be a desperate race for answers and transforms into a dance with the unknown. You start to trust the flow more and control less. You learn to see beauty in the process and not just in the result. And you understand once and for all that everything that resisted arriving before was actually waiting for the right moment, the moment when you would be ready to receive it. This includes people, opportunities, life changes, internal healings, and even achievements that seemed impossible some time ago. All of this begins to align when you stop chasing and start walking with purpose. This is the true power of understanding that what is meant to be yours will find you. It is not about crossing your arms and waiting for everything to fall from the sky. It is about walking with awareness, choosing with clarity, becoming someone who lives in tune with what they desire. Jung said that life is not a matter of finding meaning, but of living it. And to live with meaning is exactly that, to align your attitudes with the truth of your being. When this happens, the external world begins to respond with more coherence. What once seemed improbable begins to seem inevitable, and what once generated anxiety now gives you serenity, because you finally understand that everything that is meant to be yours is not lost, is not far away, and is not delayed. It is just waiting for the exact moment when you will be whole enough to live it with depth, presence, and maturity. The deepest truth about this journey is that often, what is meant to be yours finds you not when you are searching, but when you are being. When you stop trying to prove your worth to the world, when you let go of control, when you start living with authenticity, it is at that moment that things begin to align in an almost magical way. Not because life has suddenly changed, but because you have changed. And this internal change reverberates in everything. People who didn't see you before start to notice your presence. Doors that were locked become unlocked. what seemed unattainable approaches, because the universe does not respond to what you say you want. It responds to what you are. And that is why trying to force events, chasing what does not surrender, insisting on closed doors is so exhausting, because deep down you know, what is truly yours does not require a fight. It requires presence, it requires integrity, it requires a heart willing to receive. And so, the ultimate truth is revealed. Destiny is not a script written for you, but a symphony you are invited to conduct by living in harmony with your deepest self. Carl Jung taught us that every conscious choice, every yes from the heart, and every no to what drains your spirit is you actively building the bridge to the life that is waiting for you. The process requires courage. It involves the painful yet sacred act of letting go of who you were to finally become who you were born to be. But it is in that silent space between your past and your future that the true miracle happens. You allow yourself to be found. And when it happens, the feeling is not one of conquest, but of a profound reunion, as if you are finally remembering a truth that your soul has known all along. So, if you are listening to this right now feeling lost, impatient, or that life has left you behind, hear this with every fiber of your being. What is truly meant for you cannot be lost. It has not forgotten your name. It is simply waiting for you to be ready, to be whole, to be an open vessel. When your moment of arrival comes, there will be no frantic effort, no anxiety, no rush. There will only be a deep internal silence that confirms, it is here. You will know it, because your entire being will vibrate with a yes. A yes that does not come from fear or need, but from the infallible wisdom of your soul. You have been given a powerful key today. To lock in this newfound confidence, I invite you to leave a comment for me and for yourself. Just write these 4 powerful words. My soul knows the way. Let that be your declaration. If this journey has resonated with you, please show your support by hitting the like button, which helps this wisdom find others who need it. And if you are ready to continue transforming your life from the inside out, make sure you subscribe. A surprising number of you watch until the very end and haven't joined our community yet, and you will not want to miss the revelations we have coming. Thank you for sharing your energy with us today. Trust the timing of your soul.